Okay, y'all, we are back with part two. Sorry, this is going to take a little more than 10 minutes. So, and I want to correct myself. I said Cynthia Erivo was African American. She's British. So, but my point is that it is stunning to find out that a story that is so heavily influenced by color and racism and being ostracized and demonized, you would assume that the character, the actress for that character would have been African American, perhaps even from the beginning. I understand politics and I understand how sometimes shows, just to get off the ground, you need a big name. At the time, and no shade to the original cast, because Idina Menzel is brilliant. I mean, she has an incredible range when she sings, and she was coming off of Rent, and I think she was doing other musicals at the time, and they wanted a big name, so it made sense. And also Kristen Chenoweth, she also has such an opera-like voice, so she plays our original Glenda in the play. So and no shade to either of them, and we actually see, spoiler alert, we see little cameos with them, and it was touching to see that, because it's like, oh, here we see the predecessor meet the successors, and Cynthia and Ariana do not disappoint. Their chemistry was like very impactful in the film, and those scenes, those really heartbreaking scenes of how we see the evolution of Elphaba, and how we see the origins of her story, of how she was conceived, why she's green, also why she's so affected by water. I will also link in my YouTube channel those particular little tidbits that are included, or maybe perhaps influence the story, because we are talking about witches and how they also point the four corners of the map. So we have north, south, east, west. I saw a lot of elements of other films too, I will say. Like, I felt very much like there were punches of like The Craft, right, with the earth, water, fire, air, right? But I think that's probably every film that incorporates witchcraft. And and I saw elements of Can't Buy Me Love. Do people remember that film, Can't Buy Me Love? What was his name? I don't remember his name anymore. Hold on a second. Okay, so I had to look it up because it's been years. But it was a 1987 film, Can't Buy Me Love, with Patrick Dempsey, McDreamy, right? From, I forget that show too. It's been chaotic. But anyway, Grey's Anatomy. Oh my goodness, why did I had a moment. But anyway, that there are instances of like where we have two very distinctive personalities, Miss Lovable and Social of Galinda and her little crew, and they're very mean girls in this the first portion of the film. And then, although she's very nice, and she is, there are elements where she is very nice and kind-hearted, but there are moments that you start to evaluate, and you're thinking like, well, why is she doing that? Because it only serves her. So even to a dance where they meet, our two protagonists meet, is at a school. Feels very Harry Potter. It's like a school for sorcery. And also some professors are animals, and they can have the ability to reason and think, and are scholars. But again, the whole concept of demonizing, othering, and silencing history is just resounding, and unfortunately mirroring also our current reality and election. I don't want to get into politics, but I really, the thought of racial critical theory, definitely I felt in those elements, in those particular scenes, and how to silence that part of the fabric of who we are, the American history, and the history of this fantastical world. But Can't Buy Me Love, I thought of when, yeah, she was trying to be slick, Glenda, and gift our Elphaba the famous pointy, black hat, which is something that she was gifted by a family member, her grandmother, I believe, and was like, who would I give that to? I mean, who would I hate that much that I would gift that to? And she gives it to Elphaba, not knowing that Elphaba was looking out for her. And the way she's admitted to, she was admitted into this school not reluctantly, because she was just there to kind of take care of her sister. Her sister is wheelchair bound. And we have our first actress who is actually living her life in a wheelchair. I think her name is Melissa Bode. Beautiful girl. And plays the character of, I forget the name. Hold on. Nessa Rose is the character's name. Nessa Rose Throp. And she is so Elphaba and Nessa Rose are daughters to the Governor Throp, and he's the governor of Munchkinland. But let's put a pin in that. But the scene where, Glenda realizes that she's been too much of a mean girl to be nice here, because I could have really fit in any other word here. She realizes that she wants to take away from the fact that she's gifted her this hat and has made her a laughing stock. And we don't see those instances in Can't Buy Me Love, but that scene where, he's a bit of a nerd and he's become popular because he's dating the popular girl. He does this dance that he happened to see in American Dance. Well, he thought it was American Bandstand. And I don't know if people remember that show, but it was like very much a dance-oriented show. And people have followers. So, although Elphaba is trying to distract from the hat and do like all these things, like I don't care what anybody says, as a defense mechanism, Glenda realizes that she is embarrassed, and so she joins her. And they have like this bonding moment, and that is what clinches their relationship, that she's also willing to kind of put herself in that awkward situation to bond with her and to take away from the embarrassment of the hat that she imposed on her. And there's more on that later. But anyway, at least in the musical and what we suspect part 2 will, in the sequel to this movie will include. But, yeah, when everybody chimes in, I just thought of like Can't Buy Me Love. Like, this is like, oh, monkey see, monkey do, let's do that too, like people are a bit sheepish that way. But anyway, but there are these elements where I swear that like Cynthia really had me in this emotional roller coaster, because there are so many moments that you feel yourself or have felt yourself feel different because of something, because of X, Y, and Z, because of skin tone, because of skin color, because of culture, because of a language barrier. There's so many reasons to feel like you're less than, because of that's not the societal norm. So there are moments where you really will break down in watching this film, and that's why I say, like, I feel both ladies did a great job, but I feel like Cynthia really, like, that is the heart of this story and this movie. John M. Chu's the director, and I saw elements. I've seen his previous work with Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights, and I have my opinions about In the Heights. I'm not saying it was entirely bad, and if you want to see that review, is also on my YouTube channel. But I feel like how every director has their own signature way of filmmaking, like Martin Scorsese or Francis Ford Coppola. He has a signature way of directing as well. So there are dance sequences and hues of color and punches of color that he uses that were similar to what I saw in The Heights. He plays with the color of sunset. It's so gorgeous. And then not to mention that the set was actually created for the movie. So a lot of what you're seeing is not necessarily CGI. it's actually a film studio where they created